Hello, Country Church of the Open Bible. We're the Welch family. I'm Drew.
I'm Jessica.
I'm Ian.
I'm Kayla.
And I'm Kirsten.
And we just want to thank you for watching our introductory video. And we were excited to see that you had some additional questions for us. So we're going to try and answer those for you in this short clip. In Liberia, our goal really is to help rebuild our Open Bible ministry that is there. And so we are dealing with churches and schools and a lot of different things, but really our goal is to help them to be thriving again and not just surviving. So we're going to allow all of the kids and the whole family to answer some of your questions. And so we'll start off with the question, are you safe? And is there persecution where you're at? So Kayla, why don't you answer that?
For the most part, we're pretty safe. There is theft because it's such a poor country, and we've had some racial diversity. But other than that, we're pretty safe where we are.
Yeah, even though Liberia had 24 years of civil war, it's been relatively peaceful since about 2004. The UN just pulled out their troops a couple years ago, and so the government is managing all of that themselves through their own police force. So the next question that we'll look at is, have you established other churches? And so Liberia is our first place that we've served as missionaries, and initially we were just going to visit a lot of our churches. We have 32 churches that are there, and so we were coming alongside of them, visiting, preaching, teaching there. But when we go back, we'll actually be church planting. So that'll be our first experience with church planting. Actually, in the Open Bible East region, we had begun doing some trainings and things with church planting before the Lord made it clear that we were to go to the mission field. So we're really, really excited about that. But no, we haven't established other churches before. So this will be a new thing for us. So you can keep that in prayer. The third question here, let's go to, what do you have for teen and children ministry? So Kirsten, why don't you answer that one?
We recently started a learning center, and we're teaching the kids there just about school etiquette and standing in a line and just all the things that we need to just start a school and teach them how to read. And we also shared a couple Bible stories with them. And in the past, we also had a Bible study, and we teach kids anywhere from kindergarten to fourth grade, and there could be teenagers in fourth grade and in any grade there. And
it was really awesome to watch the kids come down and sit on our front porch and to watch our kids just minister to them. They came up with the plan for Bible study and managed all of those kids. Not an easy task. Sometimes 5 kids, sometimes 30 kids. And they really did a great job with that. So Ian, why don't you share just a little bit about what it's like being a kid in Liberia or being on the mission field as a kid?
Well, as a kid, you're going to be spending a lot of time with the kids. And that's a lot of what me, Kayla, and Kirsten do, just to really spend time with the people and get to know them and really pour out our heart into theirs and really listen to their stories is kind of what we do. More on a daily basis type thing, yeah. I play a lot of soccer with the boys over there, and sometimes we wrestle around, and through that, sometimes I'm able to open up my heart and share with them, and they can do the same. So,
yeah, the kids are definitely the best part of Liberia. Their little faces and smiles, just how they can laugh. Even when they don't have very much, they still find joy in very simple activities. So we have 2 questions here that are similar. It says, what is the best part about being a missionary, and what are some negatives, or what are the pros and cons in being in Liberia? So I'm going to allow anyone that wants to chime in and talk about that. Maybe you can start.
As Drew said, I think the best part by far is the children. I was just looking through some pictures today and video footage and things, and it just makes your heart melt. We're starting to really feel our heartstrings pulled to get back on the ground. We've been away from them for a little while now, so it's time to get back on the field and get back with our kids, So that's definitely the highlight of being there. I think one of the challenges is just the extreme poverty. There are so many needs, and it is not possible for you to meet them all. And you wish you could. You wish you could just have, you wish you had bags and bags of money and just to be able to hand out and just to be able to meet every need that comes along, but you can't possibly. And, I don't know that that's what God desires for us to do, is just meet everybody's needs, because then it doesn't allow people to, rely on the Lord for that either. So but it's hard. It's hard to watch the extreme poverty on the daily. So, yeah, I think for me, that's kind of the positive and negative.
Anybody else?
I think for me, one of my favorite parts is getting to learn people's backstories. You get to hear a lot of stories about where they came from and how they survived the war and just all the terrible things that they went through and how they still believed in God and really focused on Him through all of that. And that's really helps us grow as a person as we listen to their testimonies and their stories, but also helps us relate better to them and helps us to grow. One of the hardest parts for sure is that it's really hard to stay connected with people back in the States. So family, friends, it's really difficult. We miss out on a lot of holidays sometimes, and that can be challenging at times.
Okay, I think that's good for that. The next question is, what would you need the most for support or for other things, or how can we help you the most? And so my wife will talk a little bit about prayer in just a moment, but outside of that, our personal support, everything that we do, we have to raise the support for that. It goes into a designated account when someone donates and they mark it as Welch family. Everything that we do comes from that. Our personal support projects, other projects can be designated as well, but we've been faithfully supported through a number of people. A core, we're about 60% funded on a monthly basis, and then the other 40% comes in through churches that just do an offering once a year. Or it's amazing when we get our giving reports and people we've never met, and they just desire to give and be a part of what we're doing. It really humbles us. We truly appreciate the opportunity to be able to do what God has called us to do. And it's only through a support group financially that we can do that. And so we truly do appreciate that. In Liberia, one of our major needs is with the launching of the Legacy Learning Center. And we're going to have an operational expense that will be starting here in July or August at about $800 a month to initially help with staffing and supplies and things of that nature. Comes down to about $3 for one reading lesson with an instructional coach trying to teach literacy to children and adults. So that would be a big need. It's a new operational expense beyond what we've had in times past. So we'd ask you to prayerfully consider that. One of the questions was, what tips or what advice would you have for someone looking to go into the mission field? And I'm just reminded of my pastor, of a story he shared one time about a young man said he wanted to go to the mission field, and so the pastor went over to the side of the church and kicked the door open on the side of the church. He said, "There's your mission field, get started." And really, who you are at home, so to speak, in your church and how you serve and how you minister, that's what you're exporting. Even if it happens to be that you're called to another nation, it's really those things, how the Lord builds you there. It's those same things that you use in the mission field. It's not like you're magically empowered or some gifts or talents, just, all of a sudden you're a missionary and, that these things, you're just going to magically have them. But just having a heart, for the lost and really praying and listening to leaders to confirm the call. If you're married, hearing, both of you need to hear and that there be a confirmation with that. But I think really knowing that it's the Lord and not just trying to do something because it's new or different. Sometimes it can seem exciting, the thought of going abroad, but let me tell you, that wears off pretty quick, really quick. And so if you're not called and have a real strong sense of purpose, probably not going to last on the mission field. So how can we specifically pray for you? So Jessica, why don't you go ahead and share about that?
I think one of our biggest concerns this moment is just our transition back to Liberia. Our family has had a real challenging year. So, yeah, just being able to make that transition back, and that the Lord is going to continue to heal our hearts. Yeah, it's just, I'm not going to go into detail, but it's just been a real challenging year for our family. So, and then as far as, some other prayer requests is we're getting ready to launch the literacy portion of Legacy when we go back, and so we've been spending a lot of time just trying to get curriculum ready and that sort of thing while we were stateside. So just pray that we're able to, make that thing go forward and teach kiddos how to read, and even their parents how to read, whoever wants to come, whether it's kids or adults, that we can just really meet the needs of the community. We just really desire for that, both in the being able to teach them to read, and as well as we're going to also be launching a church plant. So just all of those moving parts. We have a lot of moving parts. So if you just can keep the church plant and Legacy launching in prayer, and our family, that would be great.
So thank you so much for watching this video again, and we truly do appreciate and covet your prayers, and hope that something that we said was a blessing and encouragement to you. God bless. Take care.